Hi, I'm Sky, and today I'm talking about 67 films I watched in 2025. I've watched a total of 205 films, 130 of them I've watched for the first time. So I've compiled the top 67 films I watched over the last year. Number 67 is Naked Gun. Probably the loudest I've laughed in cinema for the infrared scene. Definitely funnier than 67. Number 66 is Mickey 17. Would love to be in the middle of two Robert Pattinsons. 65 is Superman. Haven't loved a superhero movie this much for a while. And 64 is Legally Blonde, which shows you how fun woke cinema can be. 63 is Songs from the Second Floor. This is not from Wes Anderson, not from P.T. Anderson, but instead from the Anderson who's very depressed and Swedish. Stray Dogs, another very depressing film, but this time it's in Taiwan. 61 is Blue Moon. Ethan Hawke's performance here is the embodiment of what Nicole Kidman says, heartbreak feels good at a place like this. Speaking of heartbreak, Lost in Starlight is the film that I cried the most to this year. 59 is Second and a Half Naked Gun. This is the best Naked Gun movie. Prove me wrong in the comments. 58 is Universal Language. There's a Christmas tree and a turkey in this, so I guess it qualifies it as a new Christmas movie. 57 is Love Lies Bleeding. Think David Lynch's Highways and Cronenberg's obsession with bodies, but better because Kristen Stewart's in it and it's directed by a woman. 56 is La Cocina. As Alexander Hamilton once said, immigrants, we get the job done. 55 is Return to Oz. Who thought the sequel to Wizard of Oz would involve Dorothy on an electric chair? 54 is West Indies. It's like Hamilton, but about French colonialism. 53 is Shanta Ackerman's American Stories. First of many Ackermans on this list. 52, The Straight Story. Definitely the straightest David Lynch film. 51 is Dreams and Nightmare. Also a road trip movie, but definitely not straight. 50 is Conclave. Still can't believe they put this out right before the Pope died. 49 is Silence of the Lamb. Perfect acting. Why is it a little bit transphobic? 48 is The Square. Swedish humor is quite something. What do you mean you're gonna blow up a homeless girl? 47 is One Battle After Another. It's a really good action film. And it's also a really timely film when it comes to what's happening in America. But it's also really allergic to what's really happening when it comes to people using social media and how they engage with the political climate. And isn't it a bit weird to end it with an iPhone ad? 46, Dancing with Crime. I watched this on a nitrate print with my film theory idol, Richard Dyer. It's a great film noir. 45 is Celine and Julie Go Boating, and I assure you they do way more than boating in the film. 44 is Trouble Every Day. If you want to know what I think about the film, go watch my last video. 43 is Eraserhead. I don't think anyone other than Lynch would ever thought about the idea of a woman singing in the radiator. 42, A Bug's Life, featuring Pixar's first and only character in drag, the ladybug. And now we're getting into the 4.5-star region. Crimson Peak, I think it should be as loved as other Guillermo del Toro movies. 40 is The Wedding Banquet, featuring Bo and Yang saying, "Queer theory takes the joy out of being gay." What a line. Going up, up, up is our moment. 38, Sorry Baby, which Ava Victor directed, wrote, and starred in. They balanced the comedy and the trauma in this so well. Really excited to see what they do next. 37 is The Meetings of Anna. It features a scene where the main character comes out to her mother and it feels really personal to Chantal Ackman herself. 36 is Born in Flames, which makes a very good double bill with One Battle, and it really showcases more on the side of how the media can mobilize communities to protest. 35 is Punch Drunk Love. Philip Seymour Hoffman is amazing in this. I really want more of him. Shut up! 34 is HUD, my first Paul Newman film outside of Cars, and he's really different here compared to Doc Hudson. 33, Clueless. Is this fun? Absolutely. Is this incest? Maybe? 32 is Guys and Dolls, which informed me that Catgirls already was a thing in 1955. 31 is Tampopo, one of the films that makes you really hungry after watching it. 30 is The Gleaners and I. Completely did not expect Zach's father to rap in this.
Ouais, y a des matelas sur les pavés, récup de rue, rap de récup, des belles machines à bien laver, des frigidaires endommagés, des canapés très fatigués, t'as qu'à te baisser pour te meubler, ouais, des gazinières et des coussins.
29 is Happy End, where a group of students fight against the increasing surveillance in their school. 28 is Soleil Ô. There's a scene where they documented real-life reactions to an interracial couple on the streets of Paris. It was quite haunting. 27, A Couch in New York. It's basically The Holiday with Juliette Binoche and somehow William Hurt. 26, Sinners. I don't think enough people are talking about Pale Pale Moon. I think it's the best song in the film. 25, Carrie. Brian De Palma really squeezes as many split diopter shots as he can into this. 24, Moulin Rouge! Exclamation point. A case of cocaine overdose. 23, The Bling Ring. Apart from Emma Watson's accent,
I'm a firm believer in karma.
it is my favorite Sofia Coppola movie. 22, Blue Velvet. I watched this the day after we lost David Lynch at the Prince Charles Cinema, and everyone in the room was just mourning the loss of such a great legend. And I'm also lucky enough to have gotten this Blu-ray this year, signed by Kyle MacLachlan. 21 is No Home Movie, which features the best Skype scene I've ever seen in cinema.
Pourquoi tu me filmes comme ça?
Parce que je voudrais faire quelque chose comme quoi il n'y a plus de distance dans le monde.
20 is The Happiness of Katakuri's, which is probably one of the most cursed musical there ever was. 19, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Once you understand Spielberg is trying to say that dad is cheating on his wife with aliens, then you understand it's an amazing film. Crazy that it came out on the same year as Star Wars. 18, Zero Patience. This is a musical made during the AIDS epidemic, and it manages to combine the camp aesthetics of musical with a strong political message, which I find really fascinating. 17, Roman Holiday. They don't make films like this anymore where they don't tell you where the princess is from in the whole entire film. 16, another Spielberg, Catch Me If You Can. Starring two of the biggest stars of their generation, DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, and another Spielberg film about a child of divorce. 15, Caught by the Tides. This is a decade-spanning romance that incorporates COVID in the best way possible. It really understands how that feeling of isolation that COVID has created, and it also traces the changes in China over the years. 14 is Vive l'Amour. This is a film from Tsai Ming-liang which involves three people living in an apartment where they're not supposed to. This is such a thematically tight film that uses the urban space and the apartment space to its fullest. 13, The Man with a Suitcase. Having lived in a student accommodation with people that I don't know, this is incredibly relatable. It really shows the full extent that people would go to stay in their own room. 12 is Self-Portrait with Three Women from Zhang Mengqi. She films three generations of women in China, her mom, and her grandmother. It's such a personal and daring film to challenge the social norms of China. 11, The Elephant Man. This is definitely one of the more conventional David Lynch films, but it also shows us that Lynchian is not just about the dreamy trippiness of it all. There is a beauty in his genuine compassion and love for everyone. Now we're entering top 10, Ingmar Bergman's Persona. I have to admit, the only other Bergman that I've seen was Cries and Whispers, so I completely thought Persona is just another melodrama. But it is so much more than that. It's very experimental in the way Bergman uses editing and digs so deep into analyzing the human psyche. And it also has some of the most gorgeous images of faces that I've ever seen. Number 9 is The Girls from Mai Zetterling. There's a scene in the film where Bibi Andersson's character is on stage and yelling at the audience, telling them to talk about the play that they just watched. It really showcases how important it is for us as audience to engage with the films that we watch, because art is so much more than just entertainment. Art says something about the world around us. Number 8 is The Student Prince in Old Heidelberg from Ernest Lubitsch. I watched this film in the Film on Film Festival at the BFI. This was one of the less famous Lubitsch films, and going into it I have no clue what to expect, but I absolutely adored it. It's genuinely such a romantic film. Cinema actually can say so much without all the dialogue. Number 7, The Piano Teacher from Michael Haneke. Isabelle Huppert is masterful in this. There's just so much repression that she holds within. It's such a cold character on surface, but the more you watch the film, the more she draws you in. Number 6, Robert Altman's Nashville. I watched this on its 50th anniversary and I found it really impressive in the way it juggles 24 different characters left and right, and they all still feel very distinct from each other. And the political side of it is still just as relevant nowadays, especially with populism on the rise once again. Number 5, Tomorrow We Move. One of the most underrated Chantal Akerman films. She again uses the space of an apartment to tell her own personal story, and she balances the trauma of Holocaust with a sprinkle of comedy in it. Chantal Akerman is always very praised for John Diamond in the way she uses slow cinema, but to me, her more comedic, more whimsy side is just as amazing as her slow cinema one. Number 4, Michael Mann's Heat. I watched this as a part of a Prince Charles Cinema all-nighter. They showed a 35mm print of this. The film just kept me hooked for 3 hours straight. There's just non-stop action. Number 3 is The Year of the Cannibals, directed by Liliana Cavani, who also directed The Night Porter. This is an Italian retelling of Antigone set with the backdrop of Milan, where corpses are lying around the streets. I found the film very resonant to the world we live in, where we still have fascist dictators who defend murders of innocent people. And walking out of cinema and seeing Palestinian art projected on a wall, it really makes a very memorable experience for me. Number 2, North by Northwest from Alfred Hitchcock. This is probably the best Bond film ever made, even though it's not technically a Bond film. Cary Grant runs next to a plane, hangs on the side of a cliff, explosions, everything is in this film. It was so much fun, and him and Eve Marie Saint has so much chemistry together. I really, really enjoyed it. And finally, number 1, Lost Highway from David Lynch. I watched this film for the first time quite soon after his passing, and I just had to watch it again in the cinema once I got the chance to. It, in a sense, feels like a version of Vertical. There's all the dualities, double identity, and it's also one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard from 9 Inch Nails. Just such a bop to listen to. It is my favorite film that I've watched in 2025. If you want to read some more detailed reviews of the films, every film I watch, I have a Letterboxd review, so you can go check that out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking with me till the very end. Remember to like and subscribe, comment down below what's your favorite film you've watched in 2025. Thanks for watching. Bye!